Hey everybody, what's up and welcome. I want to start off by just applauding you for taking the time to hang out with me today. We're going to go for about an hour plus a little bit of Q&A as well. I'm here to help you out. I'm here to get you started with your online course. And if you haven't done so already, if you're live in the chat right now, first of all, thank you again for taking the time. But let me know where you're watching from and also what your experience is with online courses, whether you've taken online courses before or perhaps even better, have started online courses. I know a lot of people have started and then stopped, and I don't want that to be you. I want you to start and keep going and keep flowing and get to the point where you can launch this thing and turn it into something that's an asset in your business. The beauty of online courses is that it can become something that you create once and then it continues to work over and over again. Although I do want to say that it's not a set and forget forever kind of thing. You still need to maintain your courses. You still need to keep them updated, but truly, it can become mostly passive after you create it, after you launch it, but it happens not right away. There's a lot of planning that needs to happen up front, and that's what we're going to talk about today. I will be talking about creating your ideas and picking a topic, producing your course. We're going to have a fun little activity together, and then how to sell it. So I'm going to give you the rundown. There's a lot more to it, but I want to give you the baseline, the foundation for it. And again, welcome to everybody here. We have some friendly faces in the house that I've seen before. We got John Carl Lewis, Clementina, Tina, Darren. What's up? Good to see all of you. And we have some new faces too. So again, whether you're watching live or the replay, this should be a lot of fun. So let's dive into the slides, because a lot of you might know my story. Some of you might not, but I started my first online business in 2008. That was over 14 years ago. And this was a business to help people pass an architectural exam. Here it is at greenexamacademy.com. And it was a very difficult exam that I created a resource for, and I started selling some study guides for it. This was my first experience selling online, and it truly changed my life, but I knew that I could help others through all the things I was learning and all the mistakes I was making, which is where I started this website, the Smart Passive Income blog. Now, many of you might not know that it looked like this, but this was the first iteration. I'm almost embarrassed to share this because this does not look great. I mean, there's even a picture of me on the bottom wearing snowboarding gear. I live in San Diego. I snowboarded like twice in my life. I don't know why I chose this picture. I had no idea what I was doing, but of course you learn and you make mistakes and you get up and you keep going. And eventually we now have the Smart Passive Income blog and SPI Media, as most of you might know it, where it's not even about me anymore. It's about the community, and it's about these amazing people who are taking action, who are changing their lives and the lives of others, including people here like Maria and Doug and Deborah, who are a part of our community, and they are who we need to highlight because they are the heroes of the story, and I want you to be the hero of the story here too. And the whole idea here is I teach by doing. Right? I don't ever teach anything that I haven't done yet, and that's the whole point here. And I've had a lot of experience with online courses. Now, this is the YouTube channel that you're on right now. I appreciate you watching here. I also have another YouTube channel called Deep Pocket Monster, which was just started in early 2020 and has now amassed almost 250,000 subscribers, which has been super fun. So I'm kind of doing it all. In addition to that, I have a podcast and in fact, several podcasts, which you might know, with over 75 million downloads total. Any podcast listeners in the house right now, raise your hand if you are one, and I appreciate you for that. If you haven't, I highly recommend you check it out. In addition to that, I have authored several books, from Let Go to Will It Fly, which was a Wall Street Journal bestseller, and my latest book, Superfans, which has gotten in the hands of some big influencers to share, and I'm so grateful for that, including, as you can see here, Mr. Beast, which is just so incredible that he and his friend Darren at Vid Summit a couple years ago before the pandemic were handing this out to everybody, and I do hope to attend this year too. But the cream of the crop, most of what we do at SPI, in addition to the community, is online courses. And here's just a few of the courses that have been created since 2017. Since then, we've generated over $5 million in sales with online courses, which just blows my mind when I think about it. But I love that because the approach that I take is serve first. As you can see with the shirt that I'm wearing right now, serve first, right? When you serve first, your earnings become the byproduct of that. And that's a big lesson that I want you to take away. And you'll see that theme come up quite a bit today, which is really cool. But I'm so proud of the team that has helped put this together, but also myself, because it's something that I was very scared to do. I actually delayed selling online courses because I was so scared about selling out or just trying to treat my audience like a sponge and take every dollar from them. But no, it's not like that. And I'm going to teach you how to get over the mindset stuff related to selling, because that's a really big component of this. You could have the best online course in the world, but if you don't have the right mindset and approach to it, well, it's not going to help anybody and it's not going to help you. So here is what we're going to learn today. And a big shout out and thank you to all the people who are watching right now. You're going to learn how to choose the right course topic. There have been a lot of changes over time. What once used to work does not work anymore. And I'll tell you exactly what that is and what to look out for when you make the choice and how to know whether or not it's actually going to work or not. Number two, an easy way to produce it. Building an online course, many people have the idea to do it, but they don't because it's very intimidating, right? Oh, I have to film it. I have to figure out what the lessons and modules are going to be. Well, we're going to actually do something live together so I can show you exactly how simple this is. And this is where the chat is going to get involved. So stay tuned because I'm going to ask you for some help later. And then finally, how to sell it. And I'm going to also share the best sales advice that I ever received from one of my mentors. And I want to pass it on to you. I actually have a clip that I want to share with you, the moment that could potentially change your life with regards to your mindset with selling. So let's talk about your topic. Let's just dive in. Are you all ready? Let me know in the chat with a fire emoji if you're ready to get started. I'm just going to do a quick little stretch to get ready here. Hopefully you can feel the energy because I got the energy thanks to you. I always love going live. It's always scary right before. I always get a little nervous. But as soon as I hit live or go live, y'all just make it better. So thank you for making me feel comfortable. I hope you are comfortable here too. But as you can see, we're just steaming right through, and we're about to dive in. And thank you, Linguistic Discovery, Don, and Kobe, Tina, for the fire emojis. Awesome. Still coming in, Darren. Thank you. Okay, so your topic. In order to talk about a topic that would work today, I need to go back into the past, as we love to do with all my Back to the Future stuff that you could see behind me over there. So we need to talk about what courses used to be like when they worked before. And I'm talking pre-2016. They used to be essentially encyclopedias full of information because that's what was valuable. That information wasn't readily available before. So let's put that information somewhere, package it, make it convenient to have access to, and then sell it. But unfortunately, that's not what's working today. So you tell me in the chat right now, why do you think this approach of just everything under the sun inside of a course doesn't work anymore? I've spent a lot of money on courses like that, and I'm going to tell you why they don't work today after you give me some ideas, because they definitely don't work. And they don't work because most of us don't have the time to go through everything. We just launched a course about YouTube recently, and the whole positioning of that course was, it's not everything about YouTube. Because if it was, guess what? It would be incredibly overwhelming. You wouldn't have the time, and you probably wouldn't get the results, right? Firehose, says Linnell. That's right. So much information. Got no time to read all that, bruh, says I am Wenji. Takes too long. People want results quickly. Exactly, Gareth. Too much time to dig through. Too much information. Nobody finishes them. It doesn't work anymore. And it's too much. There's more than you actually need. And it doesn't get you a result. Just knowing the information is not enough, because the truth is information is readily available anywhere. In most courses that are sold online today, in most, you could technically go out and find that information for free right now using Google, right? I have a course on how to start a podcast. It's our most successful course. You could go find out exactly how to launch a podcast yourself. So what does a successful course look like today? Well, a profitable, successful online course solves a specific problem. It's not an encyclopedia with all the information A to Z. It's specifically how to do a certain thing that has a result. It solves a specific problem. It promises a desired result. It shares a clear process. That's the other thing. A ton of information in front of people is literally like you dumping an encyclopedia and going, here you go, now go find it, what you needed and what is actually helpful. What if instead you positioned it as, hey, here is the process. This is all you need, and you're going to be able to do this in a very short period of time. And that's the other thing. I think Garrett or somebody mentioned that it's about getting the result faster, right? That is what is valuable, is how quickly you can get a person to a result and transform them. This is the key word here. Your online course must transform somebody. Now, what does a transformation mean? It also means that kind of transformer. If you know what I mean, then you're an 80s baby like me. But it also means they were once in one place, or they are in one place, right? They have some struggle, some challenge of a particular kind. And then after they take your course, they will be on the other side of it in some way. It could still be informational. It doesn't necessarily need to be even life-changing, but it's something that was once inconvenient that is now made more convenient thanks to you, right? Here's my all-time favorite course. My all-time favorite course is from one of my mentors, Michael Hyatt, and it's called 5 Days to Your Best Year Ever. This course typically is sold in November and December to his audience. He's sort of changed the method now because he has a planner now that goes along with it, which has become the focus. So anyway, this is a course that I bought for 4 years in a row. Very clear on what it did. It helped people like me who have a lot of goals make sure I hit those goals. It is 1 hour and 15 minutes total. There are 5 15-minute videos in this course. That's it. One for each day that you plan this out. There's a workbook that goes along with it, and it's $300. And it's by far the most valuable course I've ever taken. And I still go back to my old work, even though this course is not sold in the way that it used to be anymore. I still go back to that work, and I check it, and it helps me tremendously. I'm grateful that it's only an hour and 15 minutes, right? I'm grateful for that. And so I am actually paying Michael for the convenience of getting to that result faster. I'm paying Michael for the years and years of advice that he's taken over time, the education that he's had, the mistakes that he's made to be able to put it all into here, right? It's similar to like there's still this mindset of the quantity of something determines its value. How long something is, right? Like back in the day, sales pages for courses that were great were like 50 hours of videos. Now you see that and you walk away. It's the person who tells you, I'm going to charge you $50 because it takes, it takes, or $60 because it takes an entire hour to change your tire if your tire is flat, right? Versus I would pay somebody more than that if they can do it in 5 minutes because my time is valuable. And so that's essentially what many of you are going to be offering with your courses is not just the thing that you're teaching or the process, but it's saving time, right? Thank you for the correct transformer noise. What would be the incorrect noise? I don't know. That would be so funny to see a video overdubbing different noises for that. Anyway, this is your student, your future student. They're like little Mario, right? This is what you're selling. This is the course, right? This is the thing that they're going to consume, but this is not what they want. Nobody wakes up in the morning and goes, I want an online course, right? Nobody wants that. They don't even want the process that you're teaching. What is it that they want? They want this. They want to be the firepower Mario, right? This is what people are paying for. This is what they buy. They're not buying what you sell. They're buying the result. The dream is this, right? Mario saving the princess because he's got the power to do so. So think about that when it comes to what it is that you're selling and who it is you're selling to, because when it comes to your audience and your target niche, their dreams, their desires are going to be a really important component to what it is that you're offering, right? Thumbnail Girl says, dude, that comparison makes so much sense. Doesn't it? We are not selling people the course. We're selling people the result. Now, a big part of this is you need to create the thing that's going to transform them, right? That word transformation is used there for sure. But let me give you some examples. Here is one of my favorite courses from my friend Benny, who teaches people different languages. He's a polyglot, which means he speaks several different languages. He has a system for learning these languages quite quickly. And he has a course called Fluent in 3 Months. First of all, the name tells you exactly what it's going to do for you, which is beautiful, right? But look at the promise here. Have a 15-minute conversation in a new language after 90 days. You can't get more clear than what this offers you. But what does this actually offer? Yes, it's a course on how to learn a language. There's many courses to learn a language. Now I know how much time it's going to take. But I love the fact that Benny said, you're going to be able to have a 15-minute conversation. That's real life, exactly what a person who's learning a language wants to do, right? Absolutely. Have a 15-minute conversation. What does this might actually do? It means that you're going to have a better time communicating, be able to get around, be safer in a different country that you might be in, learning that language. It means you're going to make new friends. There's so many more components to than just the course itself, right? I love this one, the Type 5. This is a course that's sold that basically helps you develop your best 5-minute stand-up on set. And the imagery here is good too, because you can imagine placing yourself in front of an audience that's watching you. Well, you go through this course, you're going to transform how you create your best 5-minute set, which then means what? People aren't going to laugh at you. They're going to laugh with you. They're going to not throw apples. They're going to eat the apples, all that kind of stuff, or tomatoes or what have you. So this is a really great course. Here's one that I am very familiar with because I created it. Email Marketing Magic. What does that mean? Well, grow your list, make more money, automate like magic. A big pain in email is like having to continually feel like you need to do things and it's not paying off. Well, we created a course that walks you through how to do that, right? Grow your list, which is like something that everybody wants to do. But then what? Well, now you can make more money with it and begin to automate it, right? Here's our most popular course, Power Up Podcasting, step-by-step course to launch a successful podcast that gets found and does what? What's the actual transformation? It helps you grow your audience, right? So the flower in that analogy is the course that helps you launch a podcast. But the power is the big Mario, which is now you have influence, now you have authority, and now you're able to do it, right? One of my favorite creators, thanks for adding value and blessing us with great information, sir. Thank you, Carrot. Appreciate you. So your online course could be about a problem you solved, an expertise that you've developed, a skill that you've mastered, a life experience that you've had, and an obstacle that you've overcome. But there's a big problem when we think about it this way. When I have dove into a lot of YouTube videos and other courses about creating online courses, this is usually the approach. What do people always ask? What skills do you have, or what career do you have that you can now teach others to do? It's like, okay, that's one way to start. But here's the big problem. This is you-centric. And when it comes to creating successful online courses, you cannot be you-centric. It's very clear on a sales page whether or not a person understands this, because you see the words I more than you for a person who doesn't get it. But when you see on a sales page a person that's really connecting with the reader and saying, you've gone through this, you're going through this, you are struggling with this, and here's the answer, well, then you kind of know it's going to be much better. So you want to start with your target audiences. I always say your earnings are a byproduct of how well you serve your audience. What's up, Eddie? Good to see you. What pains and problems do they have? What obstacles are they trying to overcome right now? What skills are they looking to develop and acquire? And what are they going through right now? And how do you figure out these answers? Well, you actually do the research. You, best of all, have conversations with people in your audience. If you don't have an audience yet, go to where your audience exists. There are places where conversations are happening right now where they are literally talking about these things. And this is the way that I love doing business. You've heard me say this before if you've watched any of my stuff. Let's remove the guesswork as much as possible. If you're doing business or selling anything and you're guessing, you're doing it wrong. You have to know, or at least have an understanding that what it is that you're putting out there aligns with stuff that you've already figured out about who it is that you're selling this to and serving, right? So have conversations. Try to get on 1 or 2 phone calls with people and ask them questions like, what are your biggest challenges right now? Would a step-by-step process to help you through that actually be something you'd be interested in? What have you tried before that didn't work, and why didn't it work? When you start to discover those kinds of things, not only are you understanding more about the pains and problems of your audience, but you're also getting a sense of the language that they're using. And that's really important too, because that language is the thing that's going to connect you with other people like them. So on your sales page, in your emails, in your social accounts, when you use the same phrases that they are having in their head, well, they will automatically assume that you know exactly what's going on and that you have the solution for that, all right? A big question that often comes up, and this might be in your head now, is, well, how expert do I have to be at something? Like, okay, I find these problems and I figure out what they are, but I don't necessarily know how to solve these problems myself yet, or I'm not the greatest at it. Maybe I've gone through it, but I'm not the world's leading expert on it. Here's a truth bomb. You don't need to be the world's leading expert. In fact, people, like, think about this. What's more valuable to you? sitting in a lecture hall with the number one leading sort of person in your space and learning like this really high level stuff from somebody who's been in it for 30 years and they're a PhD, multiple master degrees, all that kind of stuff, or somebody who's just like you, who's just gone through that process and could likely relate to you more, is likely more at the same level you are, or just one step or two steps further. To me, an expert is somebody who just knows a little bit more than somebody else. And the same kind of person who is relatable is more valuable to me than the PhD student, right? Or what have you, the professor. And this should be encouraging because it means you don't need to be the leading expert on something to be able to serve people. You just need to know a little bit more than the person who you're helping. That is of value and likely more valuable because you are in it with them. You actually get it. You are more able to empathize with a person like that. The professor who's on the lecture podium is not going to know what I'm thinking, but the person who just went through that last year and now is helping others go through it likely is going to understand exactly, right? So I was not an expert with this website to help people pass an architectural exam. In fact, I had to still look up answers when people asked me. But it was because I showed up and because I had that previous experience going through this exam before. Anybody who didn't go through this exam, in their eyes, I was the expert. And there was a moment where the company that actually writes the questions for these exams actually published a study guide themselves to compete with mine. And guess what? I made more sales than I ever have before. Because although they were selling a guide, A, it was more expensive, so I'll give them that. But B, people wanted to learn from somebody just like them, right? Somebody who had literal experience going through what a person was about to go through. So keep that in mind. In addition to that, I want to give you another example. This is my buddy Adam Baker from manversusdebt.com. He has had millions of people visit his website and tens of thousands of people buy his products to help themselves get out of debt. This website was at its peak, the most popular, when Adam was still in $50,000 to $100,000 in debt. So why would people learn from somebody who was in debt? He's obviously made the mistakes, the same mistakes people made. He was still in debt, yet he was still one of the most valuable people to teach other people because he was sharing the journey. He was sharing all the things he was learning as he was going through it. So it was more relatable. And his program, which was called Sell Your Crap, which is essentially some really, really good guides on how to sell on eBay and Etsy and things like that, was really helpful because that's how he got out of debt, was just selling like all the superfluous stuff in his house. And then he was like, wow, everybody's asking me how I do that. Okay, let me create a guide on how to do that, right? Hey, Brandon, great to see you. Pamela, great to see you as well. Are you all getting value from this? I know this is a lot of mindset stuff. We haven't even gotten into the weeds yet, but this stuff is really, really important. So let me know in the chat if you're getting value from this. I want to make sure that we're all sort of on the same page here, and the fact that you don't have to be the leading expert. You just have to have a little bit more experience than somebody else. And to those people, you are the expert, and you're more relatable, and they're likely going to get more inspired by you, right? You are their hero because you just went through that process. Thank you, Scott. Cool. Linnell, Huffado, nice. All right. So we talked about selecting your course topic. Now, that's going to really be up to you and the conversations you have, and you're going to have to test a little bit. I'll show you a way that you might be able to do that coming up. But you also might be able to test. This is a great way. I've been micro-testing ideas on Twitter. I don't know if you've noticed this lately, but for the past month, I've been publishing on Twitter, and you can use Instagram, you can use stories, you can use YouTube videos, you can use blog posts and lead magnets, little PDF files, and just gauge what are people reacting to, right? There are certain tweets that I shared about certain ideas that I had that I thought were good. Crickets, right? Actual crickets. And then other ones that I thought were going to bomb, absolutely crushed. And that gives me insight, direct insight into my audience, right? Denz says, I've noticed. Yeah, good, because that's purposeful, because that's research. Not only am I providing value, right, in these tweets that I'm sharing, but I'm also understanding from y'all how you respond to them. Now, the ones that get the most response, I can go do something bigger with. Maybe end up creating a course one day, or at least creating a blog post and knowing that it has a chance, or a video, or what have you, right? One of the tweets that I shared was specifically about how a YouTuber might be able to actually buy a house because getting a loan is much harder. I can create a how-to for that now, knowing that that's going to actually help a lot of people because the tweet told me so, right? So these are great ways to micro-test some of the things that you might end up turning into a course down the road. But let's talk about production now. So I have a very specific method of producing courses. I've done it over a dozen times personally, and I've helped hundreds of people use this process too. And what this usually ends up becoming is, and this is actually a shot from a workshop that I did where I taught this stuff in person. I had 20 people come to San Diego, pay $5,000 to come and have me teach them how to build an online course. And I want to show you the results of the production process here. So we're going to scroll through what looks like just an amazingly organized wall of Post-it notes. And these Post-it notes from the students that were there became their courses, because this process that we're actually going to do live right now will magically turn into what your course will become. The hardest part, one of the hardest parts about creating a course is just, well, what do I put in it? And how do I organize it? What are the modules and lessons? So I'm going to teach you my famous, absolutely patented, not really, 3-part brain dump strategy called the dump, lump, jump, right? The bump, lump, jump, bump, lump, jump. Or no, dump, no bumping. Dumping, we're gonna take a dump, then we're gonna lump, and then we're gonna jump. All right? Yes, I said it live, everybody. Now, this actually comes from one of my courses, Heroic Online Courses, which is a course about online courses, very meta, I know, which I'm gonna share later for those of you who are interested. But this actually comes from Module 2. So I'm just pulling out the most helpful part of the course for you, and I'm just gonna give it to you right now, because I think that I would be not serving you best if I didn't. So let's do this together. So a 3-part brain dump strategy dump. This is where we take our Post-it notes, and I have them right here. And actually, like I said, we're going to do this in person right now. So I want you to tell me in the chat what your niche is, and maybe a course idea that you might have along with it. So we're going to actually do this live, and I'm going to show you how magical this process is. And then once we nail a topic, I'm going to ask you for just any ideas that you might have, because this particular process right here, the dump that we're all taking together, right? You're not going to use your editing part of the brain. You're just going to spew on the table all the ideas between where your target audience is at and the goal, the transformation that you're going to promise and offer, right? That you're going to help them through. So anything in between, in no particular order, we're just going to leave it all out on the table, because that's the first part of this process. Our brains do a great job of coming up with ideas, but a terrible job of organizing them as they are coming out, right? So what we need to do is we need to separate these processes. And I've used this process for not just courses, but my books. I've used this for blog posts. I've used this for talks like this one. I've used this for planning vacations. I use this to plan the office that I'm in right now. This process will change your life because it's just magic, right? So let's see. Niche YouTube thumbnails, ABCs of bad thumbnails, and how to fix them. How to use Streamlabs. Cool. Let's go with Ian because he's one of my favorite people. He and his son are awesome. So let's go with Ian and Ian's how to use Streamlabs as the example here. So I'm just going to write that down on a Post-it note real quick. How to use Streamlabs. All right, so how to use Streamlabs. I'm going to pop this up here. This will be sort of like the basis of our course. I wouldn't, this could even be the name of the course, but remember, this is not the transformation, right? This is what we're teaching, but what's the transformation in? The transformation is you will be able to broadcast with no problem. You're going to have the confidence to go live and build an audience and all that kind of stuff, right? So this is, let's just say go live. This will be our go live with confidence. So let's put this on the right side of the screen, and we're going to do that right here. And this is like, we'll just say beginner. Beginner with no idea what to do. Now, Streamlabs, for those of you who don't know, is a streaming software. So I'm going to put this on this side. So we're going to use now the orange Post-it notes. I love Post-it notes so much. So we're going to use the orange Post-it notes. Ian and anybody in here, if you were a beginner and you had no idea what to do for streaming, what are the things you would want to know how to do, right? Not just with Streamlabs, but between here and go live with confidence on YouTube or what have you, right? So let's literally just kind of brainstorm. You would need like to know what camera to use, right? Camera. We're just gonna make a mess here in no particular order. We need to know what microphone to use. We want to know what platforms, right? Is it YouTube? Are there others? If you at all edit during this platform or during this process, you're doing it wrong. You got to just be messy, right? Ooh, laptop, like the right computer. Cool. How to set up Streamlabs. So Streamlabs specifically. Streamlabs software. So in the Streamlabs software, we need to know how to like connect to YouTube. We need to know, like, are we going to use graphics and stuff? What about like different transitions? What about, let's see, overlays? Yes, nice. Overlays, good. Canva, a great tool to use. Again, no bad ideas. Do not throw anything away at this point. Lights, yes. Ian, we're building your course right now. Software, how to set it up. Let's do like how to find an audience. We'll just go for one more minute here. Why Streamlabs? Great one. Oh, I just clicked on something. Why Streamlabs? Lighting, XLR cables, right? So I would do this for 30 minutes. Any ideas, just anything that comes to mind. Your brain's going to go like in different tangents. Like now I'm like camera presence. I'm thinking of camera presence. I can spell. Camera presence, trolls. What about making money? Okay, I'm going to stop there because there's a lot that we could just keep going, right? But look at this mess. It's an absolute mess. So that's the dump, right? We just took a huge dump on the table. Somebody's going to clip that and make a lot of fun with that. Now we're going to lump them, right? So what does that mean? That means we create clusters, right? There's a lot of great ideas here. So this is fantastic. And by the way, a great idea as you're doing this exercise that we just did on the table right here, as you can see, there's power with people, right? So coming on with maybe your team or a friend or having people come over and just literally, maybe it's on the wall or on a table, like just get all the ideas down, all right? So we just took the dump. Now we're going to lump, which means cluster these groups together. So now we're going to find patterns, right? So I already see some patterns. There's like equipment stuff. So let's put equipment all together. So there's like computer, camera. Those kind of all go there. XLR cable. There's software, right? There's Canva. There's like Streamlabs. Let's see. Money is over here. This is like the platforms. Streamlabs software. I just lost one. This is like mindset thing, trolls. How about like while live? Graphics, while live, connecting to YouTube. How do we find an audience? So like Streamlabs software, camera presence. Okay, so I'm already seeing some stuff here, right? Look at what just happened. I see a module for equipment. And guess what each of these Post-it notes become? We need a lesson on lights. Here's a lesson on the microphone to use. Here's a lesson on microphone, and those go together. Here's a lesson on camera. Here's this computer probably goes before. Like, what are the requirements? What's beautiful about this, too, is that when you have a lesson about just this, well, the lesson's going to be what? A couple minutes long? That's what you want. You want lessons. Here's the big thing as you're creating this. You want lessons that are tight. Short and sweet. Each lesson in and of itself is about a specific problem, right? You could put all of this in one lesson. You could put all of this in one video, but that would be like a 30-minute video. By a few things happen when you have these little tiny chunks, right? A person's going to watch like the lighting video. They're going to be able to get what they need. Yes, you can put affiliate links in there too. You got to be honest about that though. And then boom, they're already moving on to the next one. Psychologically, they're making progress through the course. Your course software, like Teachable or whatever, is going to say, you've moved up. And so it's going to be like magic. So this is like a module, and I could probably break out the pink one again. So this might be like equipment. Boom, there's a module. But even before that, I'm like now looking at the order because this is now step 3. Step 3 is to jump, put things in order. Now that we have these clusters, which are the modules and the lessons, they're likely not in the right order. Put yourself in the shoes of somebody who's going through this for the first time and try to understand like, okay, does that make sense to come first? So there was some stuff in here about mindset, right? Like somebody was talking about, where did I put it? Did I lose it? Like why Streamlabs? Maybe like now you can also add more post-it notes, right? Like I'm like, okay, setting goals. Because as you start to put order, you're going to notice gaps. So setting goals, getting over the fear. Getting over fear, there's a lesson. So yeah. Other ones, you might be like, okay, YouTube, other platform, no. I think we all know this is going to be about YouTube, so I'm going to dump that. Let's recycle that. And then, boom. Now within each module, so, okay, we have equipment here. We have software over here. We have while live, like while you're live. In between, I can imagine like how to set up your first live or how to like actually go into Streamlabs. And at the end, I can imagine like, okay, now I need to find an audience. How do I make money from this? How do I, deal with trolls? This might go in what's while you're live. So you see how like organically this comes together, right? So the shorter of it, each of these become a lesson now. And now what you want to do after you get the order correct, which is maybe you remember the examples from my students at the live thing that I did where it's like nice and neat. Boom. Now you put them into a template. You use a template to organize your modules and lessons because what you just did actually turns into your production checklist. Modules, lessons, lesson 1, lesson 2. Let's just go through it. And so you want to put these in a spreadsheet. And I have a gift for you. If you go to smartpassiveincome.com/course outline, smartpassiveincome.com/course outline, you're going to get the template that we offer in the course for free to be able to, and you'll see an example of in there of the beginning parts of Power Up Podcasting, which you see on the screen right now. But this will be a nice way for you to begin to organize this so you can put it in and you can start to see like, okay, but you only go to this step, right? You only start putting it in the template once you've gone through this exercise here. So dump, lump, jump. Brain dump, find the patterns, the clusters, and then you put them in the order. And then you put them on this spreadsheet here. Cool? Are we good? Are you guys caught up? Because we just did a live demo and I never know how that's going to go. So hopefully that went well because it's kind of, I knew that was going to be good if it went well and hopefully it did. Hi, Pat from Sherry in Boston. Nice. So Ian, I hope that helped. And I hope it helped all of you to kind of see that happen live. But could you imagine how you might use that process for writing a book? From the beginning to end, okay, what's in the middle? Okay, let's just brain dump it all. Let's figure out what goes together, and now let's create our chapters and parts, right? A vacation. Here is what the goal is of the vacation. Here are 50 things that we want to do. Okay, well, that's too much. Let's start putting order to them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. What can we do or what should we do? What makes sense? And then let's go do that. This process is absolutely crazy. Right? Absolutely crazy. So when you go here, smartpassiveincome.com/course outline, you want to make sure that you click make a copy or you make a copy of it because it's a template, right? And so you can have your own version. Cool. Great. Let's keep going. Let's keep going because now we're going to talk about selling. Selling can be very overwhelming, can be very difficult. It can be very stressful. As you can see on the screen, there's a lot of things, market research, SEO, engagement, and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot. But I want to break it down to the most important thing, which is your belief in what it is that you're creating. Right? Liddell says, confirming what I'm doing right. Nice. What if you didn't want to make a paid course and just wanted to make a YouTube series? Actually, it's funny, that woman who was sitting in the chair in the last example, Ian, of the ones that were there in person, her name's Kristen over at Barefoot Theory, and she is an outdoors person. And she created this course thinking she was going to do a paid online course. And then she was like, wow, I think I want to offer this for free for my audience on YouTube. So that's exactly what she did, and it's become one of her most popular series. She was creating a course about van life because she lives out of her van. And so everything from equipment to how to, go to the bathroom to, how to park and reserve spots and maintenance, all that kind of stuff is in this course. She's turned that into basically lead gen because her course is now freely available essentially as a video series on YouTube, and it's done very well. So you could use it for that as well if you just wanted to put it on YouTube for sure, right? I say good show, says Fit Over 50. Hey, thank you so much. We're still rocking here. So let's get back to selling. And I wanted to share with you a little video from one of my mentors. I interviewed my mentor, Chalene Johnson. She's basically my selling mentor, right? I have different mentors for different things. Michael Hyatt's sort of like my family mentor. He lives life with his family in the way that I want to live life with my family. Chalene is my marketing mentor, and she's somebody who's done it in a way that has been very honest, and I appreciate that. And so when I play this clip for you, I want you to just keep in mind your thoughts about selling, and this will be about a minute to a minute and a half. And so let's play it. Let me know if you cannot hear the sound, but I'm going to hit play right now. But when it comes to especially skills, or we have services, or we're coaching somebody, how do you recommend we get comfortable putting a price on that and charging people for stuff when, yes, we do want to serve, but we also need to get paid too? What are your thoughts around money and asking people for money?
Money mindset's huge, man. It is huge. And I think a lot of it is, instead of asking people, it's how we frame it, right? Like I'm never selling. I'm always serving, or I'm helping people make a decision that could change their lives. That's it. And when it comes to pricing ourselves, it's funny, like you said, when you're reselling something, you're like, oh, I have no problem selling this thing for $50 because I know I bought it for $400. Mm-hmm. And I know it's like a steal. I'm almost like annoyed that they're buying it for $50, right? And for whatever reason, we discount ourselves because we're thinking of ourselves as selling. And what you need to do is think about the same thing, like how much did I have to invest to get this knowledge? How many hours, and what is my time worth? How many years of experience did it take for me to get to this point? How much have I invested in terms of my own education and my own development? And what would it take for someone to have to be right where I'm at today? Might be tens of thousands of dollars and thousands of hours. And so now when I'm thinking about offering this at, $5,000, it feels like a steal because I'm giving you my MBA, which I spent $120,000 on, so you want to feel like, in my opinion, you want to feel like this is a no-brainer when you price something.
I'm sorry the volume was a little low there, but I hope that makes sense. It's people paying you not for the information. They're getting the transformation, but they're paying you, and you're putting a price on it because you've spent years, or you've gone through a ton of stuff. You've spent the time, you've done the research, you've listened to podcasts, you've watched videos. All that should be taken into account with what a person is paying for. It's fast forwarding that result for them, right? So that's Chalene Johnson, an amazing friend of mine and mentor. I would not be selling courses if it wasn't for her. And as David, I think, was mentioning here, yes, we hit $5 million in online sales. Now, he's like, you're a millionaire, Pat. David, there is a difference between total sales and the money you get to keep at the end of the day, I will say. I mean, there's not just taxes, but, your team and anything like that you might have to pay for as well, and the software. I mean, yes, we've made millions and we've done that, but, I've also invested some of that money into other things as well. But I'm very, very proud and happy that I finally was realizing that selling is service. Yes, you could offer your course for free. But think about it. If you were to offer it for free, people who get access to it haven't invested in anything. There's no reason for them to finish. There's no skin in the game. There's no reason for them to go through with it. This is why charging is actually the right thing to do. And it's such a weird mindset shift because we've all been sold crap too, right? That's the thing. We're relating our experiences selling our thing to how we've just been mistreated and missold things and misunderstood in the past. And so it can be difficult to now be somebody selling something and not feel like you might be fitting into that same boat. So very, very big mindset thing, but I hope that helped. So back to selling. There are many different ways to sell your course. It depends on your size of your audience and just your comfort levels. And there's some things that you can do inside of our course and module 4 inside of Heroic Online Courses. Also, pay attention to the length of these videos, right? Remember I was saying like little chunks, 1 minute, 7 minutes, 5, 7, 5, 10. That's how it should be. Now, there are some lessons like in the podcasting course, there's a lesson on editing that's like 30 minutes because that's just how long it had to be. But we're trying to save time, right? We want to help people through transformation. So this is what I want to talk about right now. Lesson 2, because this is my favorite way to go about it. And I know a lot of people here are online course creators for the first time, and it can be very scary. So I want to talk about this idea of getting one person, one result. And this is a strategy that I've been sharing with a lot of my beginner students that has been totally transformational. So let me go over this. One person, one result. Before you create your course, yes, go through the outline process so you know like the sequence of events you would take a person through. But before you sell it, find one person who's willing to get some help from you for a certain number of weeks to just have you guide them from where they're at now to this transformation that you're offering. And we'll eventually offer to many, many more people down the road. It is so much easier to wrap your head around finding one person and getting them a result than feeling like you're going to have to pitch this to a bunch of people and you've never really even tested this before. This makes it a lot easier to go and find people too, because you just need one. And if you can't get one, then you can't get many. So let's start with one. Find the communities, find the different groups, find the connections that you already have where there might be a person that you could serve. And then when you focus on getting them just that one result, right? That's the goal. Get them the result. They may go through the same sequence of events that you've had and put out in your course here, right? Or what likely is going to happen is that there's going to be some hard times for them and they're not going to know exactly what you're talking about, or they're going to need an extra push, or they're going to ask you like, hey, but what about this? I'm a little confused here. Isn't it amazing that you know that now before you sell this to everybody else? And this person's going to be so happy to get this help from you that they're going to be more than willing to help you make this great for others, right? And here's what happens at the end. 2 things happen at the end when you help this person get a result, or you've at least got them in the right direction, and their mindset's blown because they've just, wow, I've spent years trying to do this and now you're making it happen for me, right? So for Ian, who's helping people use Streamlabs, find one person and help them go live for the first time. Then 2 things happen. Number 1, you've got them a result, which actually 3 things happen. You got them the result, and that's awesome. That's important. Number 2, you're going to get a testimonial. This person's going to be more than happy to tell you all about the experience that they've had. And you don't even need a name for your course yet at this point. You might not even have it like built at all. You're just essentially helping a person one-to-one through that process, and now you have a testimonial. And now when you create the course and you sell it, guess what? People are going to see that you've already helped a person through this. That's what a person's really looking for when they're on your sales page is, well, how for real is this? And yes, you can write all the things about what you're going to do for them, but they're always going to look for proof, right? They're always going to look for proof. So really key, that transformation is going to happen. But here's the third thing. You transform. You transform because you now know that what you're teaching actually can help people. And when you get over that hurdle, oh my gosh, you've just opened it up, right? Because that's the thing that's usually stopping people from selling is, I I don't know if this is necessarily going to work. But now you have proof, and you've proven to yourself in your head that this thing can sell. Now go out there and get them, right? Now you can pre-sell this thing, which is what we teach in the course, how you might be able to actually sell to a group of people, a founders group, and then make the course with them. And then now at the end, you have this course that's readily available, or you can start filming it and then release it bit by bit, or you can launch it all at once. We teach kind of all the ways depending on how you want to do it. So I want to ask you, what was the number one thing that you learned today? We talked about a lot of things. We talked about the idea, the topic for your course, which hopefully should be more inspirational now because you don't have to put everything under the sun about something. You're choosing something specific, and you're helping them through that problem. You're making it convenient for them to go through, right? People pay for convenience. All the stuff in my architecture program that I sold was freely available online in forums and different places, but I conveniently laid it out into a step-by-step sequence in one place, and that was of value to people. So they didn't have to go and hunt around. It was all right there for them, right? Caesar, I will answer that question at the end here, and any other questions that come out. But what was the number one thing that you learned? Structuring your course was super helpful. How to organize my ideas, the dump, lump, jump. Person on your sales page is looking for proof, says Amanda. Thank you. Keep the lessons short. That's right, Mary. The same lesson can be broken up into multiple parts, and it'll be much, much easier to go through, and a person's going to feel like they're making more progress through it for sure. How to lay out your course program in such a logical way. The system, emphasis on the transformation if they take the course. Absolutely. People don't wake up in the morning and want a course. In fact, the course is probably the last thing they want, but it's the transformation. And if you focus on that and the result, right, the flower power Mario and the dream of saving the princess, that's where they become the hero, right? How to start a How to Use Streamlabs course, says Ian with Ian. I love it. Creating an organized curriculum. The brain dump, separating from organizing. Short lessons for me, tuning in from Nice, thank you. I'm having trouble with the short course idea. Again, don't think about the course. Think about the promise and the transformation that you're offering, right? I've bought a course on how to punt a football. I was in flag football with my friends, and I was the punter. So, of course, I wanted to help the team out. So I could have found a how to, play football and learn all the things about football. But no, I just needed help on specifically how to punt a football. And it was a very short course. It was 2 videos. One was how to hold it and drop it on your foot, and 2 was how to get more power. There wasn't anything else I needed. And guess what? I took that information. I paid $79 for that course, or $99, and I became the best punter in the league. Totally worth the money, right? I love the walkthrough style of this workshop, and I believe a workshop-style course would be really successful. Nice. Not having to be the expert to stop imposter syndrome. Cool. Well, I'm so grateful that a lot of you have gotten value today. May I have your permission? Type yes in the chat if so. May I have your permission to talk a little bit more about Heroic Online Courses, the course that we have to help you through online courses? In case you might be more interested in that, we have a small window that we reopen this course for those who are interested. The reason why we wanted to do this now is because we had a huge milestone. We just hit $5 million in online revenue from our courses, and we've had a lot of people say, Pat, can you just give me the rundown? How do I do it? And this workshop is part of it. You are more than welcome to just take the information here today and use it. However, there's obviously a lot more parts to it, and the marketing, the getting traffic, the production of it, and all that kind of stuff. Yes, absolutely cool. Thank you, everybody. I want to share with you some courses that were created as a result of this course that I'm about to share with you, Heroic Online Courses. This is a course called Compose with Clarity with Brenda. She is one of our Heroic Online Course students, and she has a brand called Outdoor Photography School, but we helped her with a course/workshop called Compose with Clarity, specifically a course about a small thing, composition. I mean, it's not a small thing, but it's one of several components of what makes great photography, right? Composition. And she's created this course, and she's sold it, and she's going to be reopening it very, very soon, but it's been very successful for her, and she's one of our amazing students. This is Andrea's course and brand, Better Screen Time. She is a mom who helps other parents with managing screen time, a very big pain for a lot of parents, especially in this day and age, of course. But she has a unique approach of not doing it as far as like in a commanding type of style, but kind of like with your child, helping them understand the importance of getting off the screen and whatnot. So she's actually created 2 courses as a result of her learnings in Heroic Online Courses. And yeah, it's done very well. So she has a tech healthy family, and then recently she's niched down even further, untangling teens and tech, which is really cool. Mary, thank you so much for that testimonial about the YouTube course. Again, I just always try to make things simple because I've taken courses before that have been overwhelming, and this is what I'm trying to teach you. When you create your courses, keep it simple. Here's Josh. Josh's courses have helped over 1,300 people, and he's got many, many courses now about all kinds of things related to web development. And what's really cool is when you begin to build a library of courses, you can do this. You can create a bundle. So he sells a bundle of courses now for $1,500, which of course is a savings. And I am totally not sharing my screen, and that's my bad. So here is Josh's, but this is Outdoor Photography School. There's Brenda right there. We'll just speed through this. Here's Andrea, Creating a Tech Healthy Family, Untangling Teens and Tech. And then Josh's stuff, 1,325 students, and he's now created bundles as a result of the stuff, which has been just absolutely incredible. These are just some of the students that we've gotten together with who have taken Heroic Online Courses successfully and have launched their courses for the first time. There's Andrea right there on the lower right-hand corner. There's a few people who have created courses about health-related issues, sobriety, technical things, painting, artistry, all this kind of stuff. Anything could become a course when you understand why a person might want to take that course, right? So I want to introduce Heroic Online Courses with you. This is your ability to create an online course that converts step by step. And it's open again for the first time in a while until Friday, August 26th. And that's the link to go to if you want to check it out, smartpassiveincome.com/HOC for Heroic Online Courses. The mission here from our company is really to just equip and prepare you for an upcoming course launch that you can be proud of, right? So after the program, you'll have your completed outline, including the exact modules and lessons and the names of them that you'll be teaching, a sales page. We walk you through the components and how to build a sales page step by step, a personalized launch and marketing plan. So when this thing's ready to go, how are you going to market it? How big is your audience? Well, it depends, and that will change and inform your particular personalized marketing plan. You'll also be ready to film your course. As you might know, if you've taken my podcasting course or video course, we don't want you to spend a ton of money in addition to what you already spent to be able to do what you need to do. So there's a lot of, people are creating courses with their phones, and that's it. And so we share with you different ways and different levels on how to do that. So when you get in here, it's step by step. It'll keep track of where you're at, and we want you to take it at your own pace. You get access to everything all up front. You also get access to these things. So the SPI Academy on Circle, which is our community of course students that you can get access to meet each other, to share wins with each other, to ask questions with each other. We also have some of our team SPI in there to help out too. And then every week, you get access to me in office hours. So in office hours for 2 hours every single Thursday, we change the days every once in a while. But if you have a hang up of any sorts, you come on, you ask a question, and I will answer it for you there live. That was what was most helpful to me when I took courses, was just a teeny bit of access to a course creator. I just would sometimes have a question or two that would hold me back. I get the answers, and boom, I'm off and running, and I want to offer that to you with no additional cost as a part of that. And during this program, you're the hero. This is why it's called Heroic Online Journey. You have this desire, you have this want to be able to help your audience, but you're not quite sure how to do that. Well, we're the guide. You are the Luke Skywalker or Princess Leia. I am the Obi-Wan or Yoda, right, if you will, in this scenario. But what we're teaching you to do here is to have you become the guide. Your students are the hero of their journey. What do heroes go through? It's not an easy path, right? They have challenges, they have struggles, but they come out on the other end better off. And that's why it's a heroic journey to go through and build an online course and take an online course. So your course becomes the way and you become the guide. We're to help you. We're here to help you guide others and realize that you're the right guide for them. So remember this analogy, right? Your students are the little Mario. Your course is the flower and what you're selling, what customers want, what they buy, right? It's not actually the course. It's the result that the course will offer them and their way to their dream. So smartpassiveincome.com/HOC. Retail price for this is $599. One-time payment of $599. But because we have this open window, we reached this amazing milestone of 5 million sales. We wanted to open it up for those who are really interested in this. So you can get it for as low as $199 today. All access upfront right now for just $199. And that's one of 3 payments in a 3-month payment plan, just FYI. Or you could save an additional $100 by getting the one-time at $499. And the savings in the cart closes this Friday, everybody. So this is the opportunity right now. It's exactly noon. So we went for exactly an hour, just like I planned. This is awesome because this is the brand new presentation that I just created. So I hope this was incredibly valuable for you. And there's also a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if after 29 and a half days, you're like, Pat, I'm just not, it wasn't for me, well, then I failed and I don't deserve your money. So you don't even literally have to ask anything other than just, can I have my money back? You don't need to give us any details. I believe in this course so much. It has helped transform the lives of hundreds of people. And my goal is to get into the thousands with this because this is the ripple effect. I'm helping you help more people who are then going to help more people who are going to help more people, right? And the idea and the beauty of this course is there's a very clear ROI related to this, right? Like some other courses, like even our podcasting course doesn't necessarily have a clear ROI. Yes, it transforms you into a podcaster who's confident and can build an audience, but the monetization part of it is not really the driver there. This is you generating a course that makes sales, that builds authority in your audience, that helps you change lives. So smartpassiveincome.com/HOC, and that'll only be available through this Friday. Do SPI Pro members get a discount? Yes, there's a discount code that you might know that is shared often with previous course students and with SPI Pro members. So I'll have Jillian remind you inside of SPI Pro what that is. Yeah. But thank you for asking. Something's off with the sales page. It says enroll for $599, $499. So it should say, actually, let me go to the website now just so we can take a look at it real quick. If you go to smartpassiveincome.com/HOC. Oh, I typed that wrong. I said snart. smartpassiveincome.com/HOC. That will take you, and it says enroll for $599, $499. The $599 has a slash on it. That's why. It's kind of hard to see. If I zoom in, I could see the slash on there. But yeah, it's kind of hard to read, but it has a slash on it. That's what it is. I confirmed the money back. I was in the first wave of SPI Pro and ended up not feeling right for where I was at the time. Sure enough, got a refund without even asking for one. A+. Thank you, Thumbnail Grail. Appreciate you. I'll be back someday, though. Yeah, no worries. No worries whatsoever. On mobile iOS, cool. Thank you for letting me know. Mandy says, Thumbnail, check out the new learner community. Might be a better fit for your current phase. That's true. We have a much lower price community now that we just opened up called the learner community, where you can now still interact with the members of the community who are more at the beginner level. Already there. Nice. Will there be a previous student discount available for this course? Yes. If you are a previous student, use your usual student discount. If you don't know what that is, we'll send you an email about that likely. Mandy says, thanks, Pat. This was great. Thank you, Mandy. Appreciate you. Hey, Pat, I'm currently on the process of launching a podcast with my brother, and I'm reading SPI blog and watching your videos. What's one advice to make the podcast successful? Yeah, so we'll take questions for the next 10 minutes or so here. So again, thank you so much. And again, the link is on the screen right now for you if you want to take advantage of the special offer that's there through Friday. Woo! So to answer your question, Rayan, actually, let me pop it up on the screen. I think I can do that. Yes, there we go. Look at that. Technology, baby. Currently in the process of launching a podcast. What's one advice to make the podcast successful? I mean, there's a lot of things I could say, right? Dive into the stories. Stories are really where it's at in terms of, especially a podcast, what it lends itself to is that deeper connection. And that storytelling that you offer is the thing that's going to engage and hold people and really transform people and get them to want to share it, right? People share stories more than they share like tips and things like that, in my opinion, or at least I do, or I feel like I'm actually more into it when it's relatable, right? When you are creating your podcast, start listening to a bunch of podcasts and consider like, well, what do I like about this one? What do I not like? What is holding my attention here? What's not holding my attention? I would recommend the same thing if you're getting involved with YouTube as well. Watch a lot of other YouTube videos and study and learn and just consciously pay attention to why did they make that cut there? And why am I not interested in this right now. What are they doing? Oh, it's just been their face for 4 minutes, and I haven't seen anything move yet, right? Already have a course. Would love to hear how to get more traffic with ads, says Cesar. So ads are interesting, right? We need to know who it is we're targeting, and there's different places to have ads, right? You could do Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. What I love about ads is you can test. You can test for as low as $10, $15 a day to start to see some results. But ads, there's sort of two layers. There's sending ads to cold, meaning people who have never heard of you or found you or don't know much about you. And there's sending ads in a way where you retarget people who have, for example, already come on your sales page. And that's where I would start, is the retargeting, because you're going to get a lot higher conversion rate there, and you don't have to work as hard to just build a relationship and teach people. Doing an ad directly to a course for cold traffic is very difficult, because you're asking people basically to go on a date without having even met yet, right? Or if it's a very expensive course, you're asking them to marry you without having gone on a date at all. So you want to have some dates first. And what I mean by that is maybe you're offering a advertisement to something of value first, like a training session like what we just did, or perhaps a lead magnet or something else. That way a person gets to know your style and that you are already providing value, a quick win of sorts, and then they'll want to dive deeper, like kind of like what this webinar and training was today. Pat, who do I contact to resolve an account issue? Help at Team SPI, Linnell. I have 2 accounts under 2 different emails, but unsure how to resolve. I can only access one of them. Yeah, sorry about that, Linnell. It might be because there's 2 different emails or something. I'm not exactly sure, but help at teamspi.com and we'll get you set up. And if you are in one of our communities, like SPI Pro or inside of the learner community, then you can just go directly to the community manager there. It was a great presentation. Thank you, Clementina. I appreciate you. Thank you all the way from South Africa. Thank you, Luf. Appreciate you. Thank you, Chris. Question from the Thumbnail Grail, which I love the name of that channel, by the way. Can you help us figure out how much information of a course to give for free as a funnel? This will be my first course, so I don't have an old one to give. Yeah, you don't necessarily need to give away a course first to be able to sell another one, but you need to offer some sort of value. And so what I imagine would be offering for something that I'm imagining for you is like, you know, a course to help people through thumbnails, right? I would say that if you offered a mini course, like a 3-day email sequence of just 3 of the best tips, and by the end of it, a person will be able to know how to critique one of their older thumbnails and change it. Well, then what's going to happen is they're going to see a result, and then they're going to want to come to get everything, right? So you don't have to give away everything. Although I will say, what's been really amazing is when I have given away everything, people still want it in a course format because it's convenient, because they get access to you. And they want it all in one spot. So you can give away probably a lot more than you think, but I do understand that, okay, well, I don't want to give away everything, because then why would they need the course? People will pay for convenience. Just keep that in mind. And they will pay you when you've already provided them value. But at the same time, focus on 1 or 2 issues that they're having, one problem or one pain, or one specific win that you can offer them as what you give up front. And then you can... like, for example, in this webinar today, right, I gave you some really, really high value tips on how to do certain components of this, right? Maybe you teach specifically how to use Canva for free. And then people are going to go, oh my gosh, Canva, amazing. I love it. And then it's like, okay, now that I'm here on Canva and I know how to use it, what do I do about my thumbnails? Well, come join the course, right? Let's see. Did you get my email? Ian, thank you for the reminder. Can you resend it to me, please? And tell me which email address you sent it to. Any advice on right hosting platform for course creators in Africa struggling with payments options with Thinkific? Interesting. I didn't know they had the international problems. Thinkific is typically a great platform. I would also recommend Teachable. Teachable is a platform that we use currently, and I know that they have, for example, PayPal and some other options that you might be able to use as well. So check out Teachable. Thanks so much, John. Thank you. Do you share the webinar script somewhere? I don't, and this replay will be immediately available when I hit end here in just a minute. Let's see. Amanda, help at teamspi.com. We'll be able to help you out with that. Okay. Chris says, ads. Is it better to build a blog to drive traffic to the course? There are two ways to go about it, right? Ads help you get in front of people like more immediately, right? Blogs and podcasts and YouTube channels and such, they will take time, but they help you build something that will be evergreen, right? As soon as you turn ads off, for example, your sales will stop, and that's the problem with ads. What I love about the build an audience approach, which maybe you go through this process and you're like, you know what, I'm actually not ready to build a course, but I know exactly who I'm going to sell it to, and I need to build that audience first. And I know the kinds of stuff using this sort of sequence that we did here earlier. I know the kinds of things they're going to be looking for. So this approach could be useful in that regard as well. Thank you, Heather. I appreciate you. Okay. I think that's it. Thank you, everybody, for an amazing day. Again, make sure to check out this link right here, smartpassiveincome.com/HOC, only available through Friday at the discounted price and with the payment plan. So again, thank you so much for your time and attention today. This was great. I'm super happy for those of you who are getting in the course. I see some coming in right now, which is awesome. And looking forward to seeing you in the next one. And again, Friday is the last day. Big opportunity. Online courses are amazing, and people are looking for your information right now. Right? People looking for your information right now. Final question here I'm going to answer from Like Kane, and that is, what's the difference or disadvantages or advantages or disadvantages of offering your courses knowledge through a YouTube channel for free and going subscriber-based model versus modules on Kajabi? That's more of a membership type model, right? Like offering them for free, but then having memberships come in. The memberships come in when you can help people through that process, when you are like, okay, you got the information, but now you need like the community and the membership to help you through that. That's a very common way to go about it. You can have both, like what we do. We have the course information and then sell the community on the side on top of that. If some people don't want the courses, some people don't want the community, so we offer both. But I think it's really going to be dependent on what your audience wants. So definitely have a conversation or many with who it is that you're serving, and begin to understand the kinds of things that they've already tried, because then you can do the thing that's actually going to work, right? It's obviously not working for them yet if they're still looking for help. So try to take the best of what has been working and then remove or don't use the parts that aren't, and then you'll be able to better hone in on what it is that you're doing. And then the final tip here is for everybody. As you are building your course and as you are selling it and still having new students come in, you can always continue to refine it. And every time you add a new thing or you update it with a new thing because your industry changed a little bit, that's another great excuse to launch it and let people know that, yes, it's fresh, but also that it's here. So good luck, everybody. I appreciate you. Take care. And I look forward to serving you in the next one. Bye, everybody.